create images for the website, a lot of the times images are all different sizes. In this case, this one's 4 megs, and sometimes they might be RGB or CMYK or different DPIs, or several thousand pixels wide from a digital camera. In that case, if you add them to the website, they're going to be too big. So what we'll do is use a photo editing program. In this case, I'm using Photoshop to make them all uniform size. Okay, so the first one we'll do is this one here. Okay, so we notice that the first thing is it's CMYK, which is the correct format for printing, offset, but to view on a website on the screen, it should be in screen color, which is RGB. So that's the first thing we need to do, is to go image mode RGB. Okay, so now if we actually save this for the web as it is, you'll notice it'll be huge. So that is far too big to view in a browser window. So in this case, we need to make it smaller. At the moment in Photoshop, it's only viewed at 25%, so it's very big. So the first thing we need to do is to reduce it in size, but you notice there is a lot of extra white space around, which means the file is going to be shrunk even more and even harder to see the actual jewelry. So if you select the magic wand and select it, you'll notice that there is a lot of extra data in the actual image, which we want to remove so that it's less likely to be viewed. If we cropped the image, you're going to have these sharp edges here. So what we want to do is deselect this, and using the white gradient tool, we want to remove that extra data. So by dragging the gradient tool up, you notice you can't get it exactly accurate. By holding shift, you can do it. So dragging it down, hold shift, and you can blend it in. So we'll just get rid of a lot of that extra information. And then if we come into image, trim, and we want to trim the top, bottom, left and right for the top pixel, click OK. Right, so now we've got a better image, which should be able to show more detail. I might get rid of a little bit more of that the shadows. So we'll come back into image, trim, click OK, and then that should be a good image to start working with. Right, so now we want to make them all uniform at 400 pixels wide by 300 high. So now we need to come into image size, and the thing we notice is the resolution is 300 dpi, which is good for printing, but screen resolution is 72 dpi. So what we need to do is change that. So we first untick this so that the pixels aren't altered, but we can change the DPI fine. So we go OK, and then if we come back into image size again, and tick that back again, then we can adjust the pixels. Okay, now if this was a portrait photo, we want the width to be a maximum of 400 pixels, but in this case it's a portrait height, so we need to go with the highest. So in this case the height is what we adjust, so we make that 300, and because we're reducing it, I normally select sharper so that it saves some of the data when it reduces the file size. So we go OK, and now if we zoom up to the actual pixel size, now that's what's going to be viewed in the browser, which is great. Okay, now we need to make the canvas size 400 wide. So double clicking on the layer, click OK, makes it a layer. Then if we come into image, canvas size, and we want to select the width to make that 400. Okay, so this is the size of the actual image canvas. It's not actually altering anything, just the actual canvas size the image is on, and click OK. Right, so now that's our exact size we want. We need to create a new layer and fill it with white. So go Edit, Fill, and make sure you select white, and click OK. And that's looking great. Now the last thing I want to do is just sharpen up the image a little bit because we've reduced it in file size and it starts to get a bit blurry. So if we come into filter, down to sharpen, and then select sharpen, that'll sharpen it up. Now it can get a little jaggy, so I tend to fade it a little bit. We come into fade, and if you drag it right down to 0, that was as if it wasn't, the filter wasn't applied. 50% gives it that. I normally stick around 60 to 70, and that should be a good image. So we click OK. That's everything done. Now we're just ready to save for web, and that's the size it's going to be in the browser. We select JPEG, and very high will give us a good size, and it's only a 14 kbs compared to the original size was well over 100. So we go save, save. Alright, so we close that one down, and then the next one is this one. So we'll do the same again, create a new layer, and first thing we do, check it's RGB, that's correct. We'll get rid of some of this extra blank content. Use the magic wand just to see what's there. Okay, deselect and do a little bit more gradient. And then we'll trim. That's looking good. Get rid of a little bit more of the bottom. Excellent. Okay, image size. Untick that. 72 dpi. Image size. Tick that again. And the height is the highest thing, so we make that 300. Click OK. Review the actual size. And then the canvas, which is 400. New layer, fill with white, and filter. And then we'll just fade that filter a little bit more. Click OK, save for web. And we're done. Close that one down. We'll do one more. In this case, check this magic wand. Okay, in this case you can see that it's going to show a sharp edge, so we need to make that nice and blend to white. So by holding shift and dragging up, that'll just fade from white nicely. Get rid of a little bit more of that content, and then this one's not too bad. Just trim that off there. That'll be great. Come into image size, change that to 72 dpi. .300 high, sharper. Okay, view actual size. Then the canvas, 400. And in this case, we go Control Z. We didn't add it to a new, we need to make it a new layer so that it doesn't use the foreground, the background color. So now that it's a new layer, then if we come to canvas size, it'll remain transparent. So now we don't have a background color. Okay, new layer, drag that to the bottom, and I know the shortcut key is to fill it with white. Select the top layer, sharpen, and fade a little bit. That's about right. Save for web. And that's what you do. So you go through each one until they're all at the right size. I'll leave that for now so you can understand. In the same case, you'd fade this one, crop it in nice so that you get more of the image. Hope this has helped. Thanks.